You've been fed a lie that costs men years, that intimacy is a prize you win by performing, entertaining, or convincing a woman to see your worth. The truth is simpler and more ruthless. Intimacy isn't granted to the loudest act. It's drawn to the calmest center. It chooses the man who knows how to slow a moment down, who can hold a woman's eyes without blinking, who speaks like he has already accepted himself and therefore doesn't need her approval to breathe. You're about to learn the right way to intimacy, not the quick hack, not a trick with a shelf life of a single night, but a method that rewires how you show up so the room starts behaving differently around you. If what you've heard so far is shifting how you see yourself, stay with me until the end, because we're just getting started, and I want you to feel how much power you've been leaving on the table. You don't get intimacy by pushing for it. You invite it by building three things: trust, polarity, and a shared private world. Trust is the nervous system whispering, "I'm safe with him." Polarity is the body saying, "I'm drawn toward him." The shared private world is the mind thinking, "We have something no one else does." If any one of these is missing, you'll find yourself working hard, chasing, and confusing attention with connection. When all three align, she relaxes into you without arguing with herself. Your job is to architect that alignment with your presence, your pacing, your words, and your leadership. Not more words, better ones. Not bigger actions, cleaner ones. Lean in and take a slow breath through your nose right now. Let your shoulders drop a few millimeters. Unlock your jaw. That subtle shift you feel, that's the beginning. Intimacy starts in your body and spills outward. Here is the reframe that changes everything. The man who reaches intimacy fastest is the man who stops reaching. He builds gravity. He lets his stillness do the heavy lifting. Gravity forms when your intentions, boundaries, and standards align so tightly that people feel them without you announcing them. She notices you don't rush to fill silence. She notices you listen without fidgeting. She notices you don't chase every micro opportunity to get closer, because you're not trying to escape yourself by hiding in her. The paradox is real. When you are willing to lose the moment, you start to win the woman. So the first layer of the right way is state control. Before you speak, you tune your nervous system like a musician tunes a violin. 3 breaths, chin neutral, chest open, feet grounded. A half smile that suggests you like what you see in the world and you don't need it to perform for you. This is not posture, it's permission for you to be you and for her to be her. When you approach, you don't perform. You connect to what is real in that exact moment. Speak to the environment, to the energy, to the simplest truth available. That's the most focused face I've seen in here. You've got a detail I can't place yet. Don't tell me, let me guess. Not as lines to memorize, but as a way of noticing. The frame is assume familiar, not stranger danger, not entitled familiarity, but the relaxed tone of a man who moves through life, creating warmth wherever he goes. The right way to open is to treat interaction as a continuation of your day, not an audition added to it. The faster you collapse the distance between thought and speech, without forcing it, the more congruent you feel. Congruence is intoxicating. Women are less attracted to what you say than to whether your body believes it. Early on, your priority isn't to impress, it's to regulate her nervous system. You do that by pacing, then leading. Match her tempo for a few exchanges. If she's fast, you're slightly slower. If she's guarded, you're patient and observant. Make micro-reflections that prove you're actually tracking her, not just waiting to speak. You answer quickly, but you're very careful with the words you pick. You're present, but your eyes are scanning the room. What are you checking for? This kind of attunement isn't interrogation, it's intimacy in miniature. It tells her you see texture others miss. When she feels seen, she opens. When she opens, you guide. That is the flow. Pace, reflect, lead. Your voice is an instrument. Most men race their sentences to outrun discomfort. You're going to flip that. Exhale more than you inhale when you speak. Let air sit on the ends of your lines for a heartbeat. Clip a few syllables when you want precision. Widen your vowels when you want warmth. This vocal elasticity creates dynamic contrast, and contrast creates attention. Eye contact seals it. Use a soft triangle. Left eye, right eye, mouth, Back to the eyes. Don't stare like a statue. Gaze like a man who knows he can look away any time, but chooses not to yet. The signal beneath the signal is, I am not distracted by my own insecurity. That's the beginning of polarity. Attraction grows where curiosity grows. The right questions to move toward intimacy are not biographical checklists. They're invitations for essence to show itself. Instead of, what do you do? Try, what do you do that makes you forget to check your phone? Instead of, where are you from? Try, where do you feel most like yourself? Instead of, what are your hobbies? Try, what are you protective of that most people wouldn't understand? These questions unmask values quickly. They position you as a man who moves past resume trivia to the core. As she answers, don't jump in with your own monologue. Thread her words back to her with a twist. So you protect your mornings because they breathe the cleanest part of your day. That tells me you value sovereignty over chaos. Now you're speaking her language to her nervous system. Watch her shoulders, watch her breath. When shoulders drop and breath deepens, attraction is converting into trust. Trust accelerates when you name the moment just as it is. We're both pretending we're fully calm, but there's this tiny electrical hum between us right now. You feel it? That's a frame check delivered with a smile. It doesn't force a confession. It makes authenticity safe. Most men fear naming the tension because they think it will evaporate. In reality, when tension is acknowledged with grounded ease, it often intensifies. That's the second pillar, polarity. Polarity is built on decisiveness, clean boundaries, and calibrated tension. Decisiveness is not being bossy, it's rescuing the moment from indecision. Let's stand over there, I want better light on your face. Boundary is not rigid rules, it's dignified clarity. I won't shout over the DJ to get to know you. If you want to continue, let's step outside for 2 minutes. Calibrated tension is the art of doing a little less than you could. Never everything the moment would allow. Never nothing when the moment is asking for something. The temptation, once you feel momentum, is to escalate too fast because you're scared it will disappear. Slow down. The right way is a sequence, and sequences matter. Begin with proximity. You reduce the physical distance until you can easily hear each other without leaning. Hold that. Then orientation. You rotate your torso slightly toward her, not squared up full, as if you could return to the room at any second. Hold that. Then gaze. You increase eye contact by a few beats longer than normal. Hold that. Then touch. Start neutral. Brief, respectful, and obviously withdrawable. The back of your hand lightly brushes her elbow as you guide her to move. Your palm meets hers for a second when you introduce yourself with a handshake that lingers half a heartbeat longer than default. Pause after each step and read the feedback. The right way to escalate isn't a straight climb. It's a ladder with landings. Landings are where comfort catches up to attraction. Only move when she's not just tolerating it but inviting it, reorienting her body toward you, mirroring your posture, self-touching, holding eye contact during silences, re-engaging when you reduce attention. When you see 2 or 3 of those signals together, the next step makes sense to both of you without negotiation. You are not passive. You lead with invitations, not demands. Give me your hand a sec. You open your palm and wait. If she offers her hand, you're on the same page. If she hesitates, you smile and withdraw easily. No drama, no commentary. That ease is powerful. It tells her intimacy with you will always be chosen, never argued for. Later, when the energy peaks and it's time to kiss, you don't pounce, you ground. Your voice drops a half step, your eyes soften, and you give a clean, direct, consent-forward cue. I want to kiss you. How would you feel about that? If you're closer and the air is already hot, an even simpler version works. I want this, do you? This is not timid, it's sovereign. It shows you can be decisive and respectful in the same breath. The result is paradoxical. Giving her the option often increases her desire to choose you. Your value should be felt before it's heard. You convey it not with bragging, but with the kinds of facts and preferences that reveal who you are under pressure. You mention that you protect your mornings for training and reading. No speech about discipline, just the behavior. You say you don't drink on first meetings because you like remembering the conversation. No lecture, just standard. You mention you left a project that paid well because it broke your word to yourself. No morality tale, just alignment. These small disclosures create a picture, a man with a spine and a soft front. Women read these faster than you think. The right way to talk about yourself is to let your boundaries introduce you. Boundaries amplify attraction when they're warm. A cold no is brittle. A warm no is velvet-covered steel. If she tests you with delays or last-minute flakiness, you respond without heat. I'm not a fan of late cancellations. Let's skip tonight and check in another time if it makes sense. You didn't punish, you didn't plead. You stayed available to the connection while staying loyal to yourself. That balance communicates rare stability. Intimacy requires safety, and safety requires predictability. When your words and actions match even under stress, her body can relax into you more fully. Texting is not the relationship. It's the bridge between in-person resonance. Treat it that way. You don't flood her phone with dopamine-seeking messages. You send signals that carry the same energy you had face-to-face. Within a few hours of meeting, you can drop a simple anchor that recalls the moment you shared. You have that focus face I mentioned. Still using it? A day later, something that links to her values. 3 protected morning hours today. You'd approve. Then you move to logistics with clarity. Wednesday 7:30, I'll take you somewhere that makes conversation easy. If she's slow to respond, you don't chase with stacked messages. Your silence is confident because your life is full. If she re-engages, you reward it with warmth and forward motion. If she drifts, you release. What you never do is argue for your worth through a screen. The man who argues on text is the man who has already lost frame in person. The first date is where most men either suffocate the moment with intensity or let it die from aimlessness. Architect the evening to travel from public to private without pressure. Start somewhere that supports eye contact and low-volume conversation. A quiet bar, a tea house, a gallery corner, a walk with a destination. Sit adjacent instead of directly opposite. Angle your bodies to face the room together. This subtle orientation turns you from opposing parties into a unit surveying the scene. Move once. Changing venues, across the street, new corner, different mood, creates momentum and gives natural beats for light touch and micro-leadership. Let's walk, it's too loud here. You'll like the lighting in the next spot. Layer in a micro-ritual early, a shared toast without alcohol, a 2-minute phone-free window, a quick "tell me one thing people misread about you" exchange. These rituals create the us bubble. They're small, but they brand the night with intimacy. As the date advances, you'll feel the temperature rise and fall. Don't fear the dips. A skilled man manages the thermostat. When you sense energy drooping, inject playfulness or novelty. When you sense electricity spiking, slow down to intensify it. Silence is your ally. Let a statement hang. Let eye contact speak for you longer than comfort permits, then rescue her with a smile. Do not fill every gap with trivia about yourself. Do not interrogate. Use statements more than questions. You like to be the one in control, but you secretly prefer when someone sees through it and takes the lead. Watch how she reacts. Does she smirk and lean in? Does she swat the words away playfully but stay in your space? Does she change the subject? These are breadcrumbs. Follow them with curiosity, not need. Touch follows permission, not desire. Treat it as a language, not a goal. Begin with context-driven touch. Guiding her around a table, offering a hand over a small step, a light palm-to-palm connection when you emphasize a point. Each time you touch, release first. That release communicates that you never pull more than is offered. Later, test proximity by lowering your voice to just above a whisper and stepping half a foot closer. If she holds the closeness with steady eyes and doesn't re-establish distance, that a green light to let your hand rest for a second longer on her lower back as you move, or to place your hand over hers as you make a point. The moment before a kiss is not wrenching her forward. It's creating a vacuum she wants to fill. Eyes to mouth to eyes, a half smile, then the simple masculine line that respects her agency. I want to kiss you. Tell me yes. If she says no or hesitates, you smile fully, touch her hand for a second, and return to the conversation like it's the easiest thing in the world. Your composure is attractive. Your pressure would not be. The right way is never to override a boundary. The right way is to make desire safe to express. Intimacy deepens through calibrated vulnerability. This is not trauma dumping, and it's not a performance of depth. It's revealing one true layer at a time and letting her meet you there. You can say, "I'm ruthless with myself about keeping promises I make to myself. I wasn't always like that." Leave it. If she asks, you share the next slice and stop again. The rhythm is reveal, pause, receive. When she reciprocates and shares something meaningful, hold it gently. Don't weaponize it later to prove you were listening. Don't turn it into a fix-it session. Simply reflect essence. That took courage to say, "I like the part of you that said it." This teaches her nervous system that exposure leads to acceptance, not judgment. Safety rises. Attraction entwines with trust. Now you're building the shared private world. It can be as small as a nickname only you use, a running joke, a plan you've begun sketching together for a weekend market you both want to visit. These are emotional fingerprints, unique, untransferable. Qualification is essential. If she doesn't invest, intimacy becomes unbalanced and collapses under your effort. Invite her to show you qualities you actually value. "I'm attracted to women who protect their attention. Show me you're one of them. Put your phone face down for 10 minutes. Beauty's common. Honesty under pressure isn't. How honest are you willing to be with me right now?" Say it with warmth and a glint in your eye. If she rises, you reward generously with attention and softness. If she resists chronically, you downgrade her access. The right way to intimacy filters, it doesn't beg. You will be tested. Tests look like sarcasm, distractions, small provocations, delays. They're not attacks, they're tremors from previous disappointments. Your job is to remain the mountain. If she throws a playful jab, you chuckle and let it pass or respond with a playful reframe, never defensive, never explaining yourself into a hole. If she tries to pull you into trivial drama, you move the frame forward. Let's not borrow problems we don't have. If she goes cold, you don't chase temperature. You check in once with clarity. "I like where this was going. If you want to continue, I'm here." Then you release. The paradox repeats. Your willingness to walk away is what makes her want to walk back toward you. That willingness must be real, not tactical. You cannot fake self-respect. When intimacy turns sexual, the right way becomes even more precise. Desire is not a license, it's an invitation to become more attentive. Keep your leadership, keep your slowness, keep your checks. You can murmur, "Does this feel good?" And pay attention to her words, sounds, and body. You escalate from the edges inward, from the least intimate points to the most, always able to stop without resentment. The man who can stop with ease is the man she trusts to go further later. You will discover that the more skilled you become at reading her breath, her micro-movements, the rise and fall of tension in her back and shoulders, the more she will open physically and emotionally. Presence is the technique. If there's one mantra to burn into you, it's this: slow is smooth, smooth is hot. Afterwards, your aftercare is part of intimacy, not an obligation. You stay present, you hold her, you breathe. You ask what she liked and tell her specifically what you enjoyed. That reflection locks in safety and increases future desire. Not every woman will be a match for your pace, your standards, or your style. Good. The right way filters by design. You are not trying to be universally adored. You are selecting for compatibility with your energy and your values. Scarcity tells you to please everyone. Abundance tells you to polarize honestly. When you polarize with kindness and clarity, the women who resonate will lean in harder, and the ones who don't will disappear faster, saving you time, emotion, and self-respect. Your calendar may look less packed. Your life will feel richer. Now let's talk about the quiet details that multiply your results. Your grooming is non-negotiable. Clean nails, well-fitted clothes that suggest you understand your body, a personal scent that is subtle and consistent. Your environment is an extension of your frame. If you invite her to your place down the line, it should speak the same language as your presence. Ordered, warm, lived in, no random chaos. Your kitchen has basics for tea, sparkling water, maybe a simple dish you actually know how to make well. Your lighting is soft, not surgical. These environmental cues tell her what kind of experience she's stepping into. They also tell you. You behave like the man your space suggests you are. Time management is seductive. You set plans and you keep them. You don't hover with what works for you loops. You propose with options that make acceptance easy and refusal comfortable. Tuesday or Thursday early evening, choose and I'll handle the rest. You are generous with clarity. Generosity is underrated. You hold doors, not as a performance, but as a habit. You pay attention to comfort, temperature, noise, seating. You make sure she gets home safely. None of this is weakness. It's contained strength. It signals provision without neediness. When conflict arises, and it will, you don't disappear or explode. You address it with brevity and precision. I felt dismissed by that comment. I prefer respect even in jokes. Then you go silent and let the air do its work. If she's the right woman, she'll meet you with curiosity or apology. If she escalates with contempt, you withdraw your intimacy and, if necessary, the entire connection. Not as punishment, but as protection of your inner world. That is leadership. That is the spine she will trust when life gets messy. Long-term intimacy is renewed, not assumed. Renew it through micro-adventures and micro-challenges. Invite her into experiences that test and reveal both of you. Cold morning walks, language classes, charity events, partner workouts, quiet bookstores with a "find me a book that explains me" game. You don't need grand gestures. You need consistent novelty within safety. And keep your masculine edge sharp by protecting your solitude. Men who never cultivate aloneness become clingy in togetherness. Your solo practices, training, reading, creative work, time with your brothers, fuel the energy she's drawn to. If this is hitting something inside you, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one and I want to know which part you're claiming first. You might be tempted to throw away this entire approach and sprint back to tactics that promised speed. Clever lines, forced scarcity, emotional games. That hunger for shortcuts is exactly what's been repelling the kind of woman you want. The right way is simpler and more demanding. It asks you to honor your word, to master your state, to listen with your whole body, to speak with intention, to lead without force. It asks you to be the man who can be trusted with a woman's openness, because you can be trusted with your own. When you embody this, you'll notice something strange. Intimacy seems to find you. Women lean in first. Numbers exchange themselves. Kisses happen without countdowns. Invitations to stay for one more sound more like inevitabilities than risks. That's not luck. That's alignment meeting opportunity. There's a thought I want you to try on and keep. You are the frame. Not the show, not the stage lights, not the applause, the frame. Everything the moment contains is interpreted through you. If your frame is shaky, the picture blurs. If your frame is solid, the picture sharpens. Build your frame through rituals, breath before speech, standards before desire, questions before conclusions, pace before lead, consent before escalation, silence before strategy. This is the spine of the right way. It is not complicated, it is consistent. And consistency is more seductive than any single dramatic move you'll ever make. Right now, decide on one behavior you'll implement tonight or tomorrow. Maybe it's the soft triangle of the gaze. Maybe it's a single consent-forward sentence. Maybe it's one boundary you enforce with warmth. You don't need to fix everything to shift everything. Small hinges move big doors when the hinges are in the right place. When you walk into your next room, carry this in your body. Shoulders relaxed, jaw unlocked, eyes steady, breath heavy. Speak less, notice more. Name one true thing about the moment. Invite, don't push, calibrate and lead. Then let her choose you. If you know a brother who needs to hear this, send it to him today. Don't keep it to yourself. If what you heard is changing how you see yourself, stay close to this message. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because we're just getting started, and I want your life to show it. And if a line, a principle, or a shift landed hard, drop it below. Claim it in writing. Men like us don't chase intimacy. We create it. And from this moment on, that's the only way you'll move.